total reflection X-ray fluorescence, also known as TXRF. Now in this case we're still using X-rays, but here we're obtaining different information. Here we're actually looking at the concentration of elements that are present in our samples. And the way X-ray fluorescence works is we have a quantum of X-rays coming in to an element here and knocking out an inner shell electron. In doing this, it leaves the atom or element in a very unstable state. An electron from an outer shell will then come in and fill that gap and release a quantum of energy. It's actually in the wavelength of X-rays, and we have a detector that will capture that particular energy. Now, the intensity of that particular quantum of energy will tell us how much of that particular element is present in your sample. Thus, this technique gives you qualitative and quantitative information. And here with TXRF, we use this optical geometry, which allows for a grazing angle onto our sample. And we do this because it allows for much more trace level detection limits. So what we have here is an X-ray tube. We have a focusing monochromator. And here we put the sample onto a highly polished sampling disc. This can be a variety of material from quartz to sapphire to acrylic. And then we have a silicon drift detector that sits only a couple millimeters away from our sample. So with this combination, we can now use TXRF to obtain trace elemental information of our samples. TXRF is really based on this equation here, and the reason we have this is the addition of our internal standard will really give us our concentrations for all of our elements that are present in our sample, because we do not have any sort of matrix effects with the TXRF technique. All of this other information is actually given to us by the instrument or coded within the factory. So with the addition of an internal standard, which is basically just a single element standard that is not present in your sample and added at a known concentration, will give us the concentration of all of our other elements that are present. With the preparation of samples, we can look at liquids, suspensions, or even solids directly onto our sample carriers.